Have you ever looked around your home at the end of the day and felt like the day simply ran right past you? Maybe a pillow is still sitting out of place, or a coffee mug has gone cold exactly where you left it this morning. Perhaps you meant to finish a few things, but somehow the hours slipped through your fingers. If that sounds familiar, please know, you are not alone. At this stage in life, it is easy to feel like the world is moving quickly, even while we move more slowly. Some days, even the thought of tidying up or organizing can feel overwhelming, like trying to catch up with something always just out of reach. But I have learned something over the years. It does not take a complete overhaul to feel more in control. It does not take perfection. Often, it just takes a few small, gentle habits, done with intention and care. Habits that do not just improve your space, but also soften your mind and steady your heart. Today, I want to share 5 of those habits with you. These are not chores. These are quiet acts of kindness you can offer to yourself. And if you stay with me through the end, I will share 2 additional bonus habits, 2 small treasures that many people find bring a surprising sense of peace and meaning into their everyday life. So let us begin. Exactly where we are. Number 1, end the day with a soft goodnight to your home. For many years, I used to end my day by simply turning off the lights and heading to bed. But over time, I began to notice something. When I took just a few minutes to gently settle my home before sleeping, I woke up feeling lighter, clearer, and more at peace. This little habit is not about deep cleaning or organizing every corner. It is about giving your home and yourself a moment of calm before the day ends. I call it saying goodnight to your home, and it has become one of the most meaningful parts of my daily rhythm. I walk slowly through the living room. I fluff a pillow or two. I rinse the mug from my evening tea. I fold the blanket I used during the afternoon. Then, I dim the lights gently, and I let the silence settle in. These are not chores. These are gestures of care. Small ways to say, this space carried me through the day, and now I will prepare it for rest. You do not need to do much. One little corner is enough. A wiped counter, a chair pushed in, a lamp turned off with intention. These quiet signals tell your mind, the day is complete. You may let go now. And when you do this, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. You do not just fall into bed. You arrive there ready. Your sleep feels deeper. Your home feels safer. And your heart feels softer. Try it tonight. Just 5 minutes. Move slowly, with no pressure, no list. Just 1 or 2 loving actions to close the day. You may be surprised how much peace that simple ritual can bring. Because when we honor the ending of the day, we prepare the ground for a gentler beginning tomorrow. Number 2, handle it now, not later. There was a time when I believed small messes could wait. A glass on the table, a sweater over the back of a chair, a letter left half open on the counter. I would tell myself, I'll get to it later. But as the years went on, I started to notice something important. Later often never came. It is not the big messes that make a home feel chaotic. It is the small things that slowly add up. One item here, another there, and before long, the space around you starts to feel heavy. Now I live by a simple rule. If it takes less than 1 minute to do, I do it right away. That might mean hanging up my jacket as soon as I walk in, putting the glass in the sink after I finish my drink, or folding the newspaper when I set it down. It sounds small, and it is. But the effect it has is real. When I walk through my home and see that things are in their place, I feel more grounded, more at ease, more present. This habit is not about being strict. It is about being kind to your future self. The one who will walk into the room later and feel grateful that the chair is clear, the counter is clean, and the air feels just a little more open. Of course, there will be days when energy is low or emotions run high. On those days, let yourself rest. But when you can, choose the small act now instead of putting it off. Because those tiny decisions, done quietly and consistently, have the power to change how your home feels and how you feel in it. Number 3, choose what your eyes see. As we get older, we collect many things: books, photographs, souvenirs, gifts from people we love. Each one carries a memory, a story, a part of who we are. But over time, when too many of these items are always in view, they begin to blur together. The space starts to feel crowded, even when everything is technically in its place. I used to think I needed to display everything I loved, but I've learned something different. Not everything we treasure needs to be seen all at once. In fact, choosing what to keep visible is one of the most loving things we can do for ourselves. Our eyes and our minds need rest. A crowded shelf, a busy counter, or a cluttered nightstand can make it harder to feel calm, even when it is filled with meaningful things. So now I ask myself, what do I want to see when I walk into this room? And more importantly, what do I want to feel? Maybe it is one family photo in a simple frame. Maybe it is a vase with fresh or dried flowers. Maybe it is a single candle or a favorite book on the table beside my chair. When we give these special things space to breathe, they become even more beautiful, and our homes begin to feel quieter, lighter, more peaceful. You do not need to get rid of everything. You do not need to change it all at once. Just begin with one surface, one room, one question. Does this bring me peace or does it ask for my attention? Because every item you choose to keep in view shapes how you feel inside your home. And every item you choose to let go makes room for more clarity, more stillness, and more meaning. Number 4, start the morning by making your bed. Of all the habits I have picked up over the years, this one surprised me the most. It is so simple, so small, that it almost seems too easy to matter. But it does, more than I ever expected. Every morning, after I stretch and put my feet on the floor, I take a few minutes to make my bed. It is not fancy. There are no extra pillows or perfect corners. But I pull the sheets up, smooth the blanket, and place the pillows neatly at the head of the bed. It does not take long, but it sets a quiet tone for the rest of my day. You see, making your bed is not about being neat for someone else. It is not about appearances. It is about claiming the day before it rushes in, before the television turns on, before the phone starts ringing, before your mind fills up with errands, appointments, or the aches and concerns that come with age. This small act, done just for you, can be deeply grounding. It says to your heart, I'm here. I'm showing up for today. And that message matters, especially in seasons of life when things feel uncertain or slower than they used to be. When you make your bed, you are giving yourself a clean starting point, even if the rest of the house is not in order, even if the dishes are still in the sink. That one small space is calm, tidy, and complete. And later, when the day is winding down, you walk back into your bedroom and see what you created that morning. It greets you like a soft smile, a little reminder that you honored yourself first thing, that you gave care, even in something so small. There will be days when you are tired, when your joints ache, or your mind is elsewhere. On those days, give yourself grace. But whenever you can, try to begin your morning with this habit. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. Because starting your day with care, no matter how quiet, no matter how small, can shape the way the rest of your day unfolds. Number 5, let the fresh air in. There is something remarkably healing about fresh air, something gentle, something almost invisible, yet deeply felt. For much of my life, I didn't give it much thought. I kept the windows closed out of habit, or because the weather didn't seem just right. A little too cold in winter, a little too warm in summer. And so, many days passed with the air inside growing still and stale, heavy with yesterday's thoughts and unspoken emotions. But one quiet morning, I opened the window beside my chair, just a crack. The air that drifted in was crisp. I could hear a bird somewhere in the distance. The curtains stirred ever so slightly. And suddenly, the room felt different. Lighter. More awake. More alive. Since then, I have made it a daily habit to let fresh air into my home, even if only for a few minutes. Even if just one small window. Because what flows in is more than air. It is life. It is movement. It is something new. You see, our homes hold more than furniture and things. They hold energy. They carry the weight of our routines, our memories, our worries. And when the same air stays trapped inside for days, we begin to feel it, sometimes without even realizing. But when you open a window, you invite change. You allow what no longer serves you, tension, sadness, tiredness, to gently move on. You let the air shift, and with it, your spirit softens. This habit is not about temperature or weather. It is about rhythm. A simple daily rhythm that says, this is a new moment, a new breath, a new chance. And the beauty is, you don't need anything special to do it. You don't need to clean the house first. You don't need to prepare. Just open a window near where you sit in the morning, or in the afternoon as the sun begins to dip. Even 10 minutes can make a difference. Let the breeze kiss your skin. Let the air stir the space around you. Listen for the rustling leaves, or the faint sound of traffic, or even just silence. These little details ground you in the present moment. They remind you that you are part of the world beyond your walls, that life is still unfolding all around you and within you. There may be days when it feels easier to stay closed in, when grief, pain, or fatigue pull you inward. On those days, I gently encourage you, open the window anyway, even just an inch. Let the day meet you. Because when the air moves, your heart often moves with it. You may not notice it right away, but with time, this habit can lift more than dust from your home. It can lift a heaviness you didn't know you were carrying. And that, my dear friend, is the quiet magic of fresh air. It asks for nothing, but it offers so much. Bonus 1. The Basket of Blessings. Over the years, I have come to believe that the most meaningful things in life are often the smallest. A photograph tucked into a drawer. A note scribbled in your grandchild's handwriting. A button from a favorite old coat. We do not always know why we hold on to these things. But we do, because they hold a feeling. A moment. A memory that still breathes. That is why I created what I call my basket of blessings. It is not large. It does not sit out on display, but it is one of the most treasured parts of my home. This basket is not for clutter. It is not for odds and ends that do not have a place. It is sacred in a quiet way. A soft corner of my life where I place only what lifts my heart. Inside, there is a photo of my late husband from our very first road trip together. There is a postcard from a dear friend I haven't seen in years. A smooth stone I picked up on a beach walk when I was healing from surgery. A little pin my daughter gave me when she was just 6 years old. None of these items are valuable in the usual sense, but they are priceless to me. Creating a basket like this does not require money or effort. It requires attention, care, a willingness to pause and ask, what in my life has brought me joy, comfort, or strength? Then, you gather those pieces, not just the objects, but the stories behind them, and you give them a home. This basket becomes more than storage. It becomes a source of light on darker days. When I feel tired, or when I miss someone, or when the house feels too quiet, I open the basket and sit with its contents. I let my fingers rest on the smoothness of that stone. I reread the note from a friend. I smile at the faded photo that still feels alive. It reminds me that I have lived through so many seasons, that I have loved deeply, that even the hard chapters of life have left behind something beautiful. You do not have to fill your basket all at once. In fact, I hope you don't. Let it grow slowly as you notice the moments worth keeping. A kind word on a sticky note, a dried flower from your garden, a prayer written in your own handwriting. Over time, it will become a quiet record of your life, not the loud parts, but the tender ones, the ones that matter most. I invite you to start your own. It can be a basket, a drawer, a small box on a shelf. Name it whatever you like, but fill it only with blessings. Because when we gather the good, we remember that even in an ordinary life, there is extraordinary grace. Bonus 2. Keep the sink smiling. There is a quiet truth I have come to understand over the years. The state of your kitchen sink can change the way your whole home feels. It seems almost too small to matter, but somehow, that little basin often holds more than just dishes. It holds emotions, stress, calm, accomplishment, or discouragement, all depending on how we care for it. For a long time, I let dishes pile up. After breakfast, I would set the plate aside, planning to get to it later. Then, lunch came and went, and now there were more. By evening, I would look at the stack and feel something sink inside me. Not just the dishes, but my mood, my energy, my sense of control. One day, though, something shifted. I rinsed my plate right after breakfast, not because I had to, but because I wanted to start the day with a small act of care. I wiped the edge of the sink, and for the first time in a while, the space looked peaceful. Just that small effort created a sense of order, and that order gave me a surprising lift. So the next day, I did it again. And slowly, without trying to create a new rule for myself, I found a rhythm. One dish at a time, one moment at a time, I began to keep the sink smiling. This habit is not about perfection. It is not about scrubbing everything until it sparkles. It is about gentleness, attention, presence. It is about showing up for the little things, because those little things shape how we experience the space we live in. When I rinse a spoon or wash a single cup, I am not just cleaning, I am anchoring myself in the moment. I am saying, this matters, and more importantly, I matter. It does not take long. You can wash one dish, stack 2 items neatly, wipe one corner. These acts, done consistently, prevent mess from becoming overwhelming. More than that, they create a ripple of calm that extends beyond the kitchen. Because when the sink is clean, the kitchen feels welcoming. A simple cup of tea feels easier to make. Preparing a small meal feels less like a task and more like care. And walking through that room no longer drains you, it steadies you. And here is something many people do not realize until they try. Caring for the sink regularly also quiets your mind. You're not carrying a mental list of "I should have done that." You have already done it, and the result is peace. You do not have to do it all. Not every pot, not every pan. But each small act is a quiet statement of love to your home and to yourself. So today, even if energy is low, see if you can do just one thing. One cup, one wipe, one gentle moment of attention. Because when you keep the sink smiling, you may just find that your spirit smiles a little too. Bonus 3. Create a morning chair ritual. There is a chair in my home that I return to every single morning. Not because it is the softest or the prettiest or the most expensive. I return to it because over time, it has become something much deeper than just a piece of furniture. It has become a quiet companion, a space of pause, a steady place where I begin again, one day at a time. I call it my morning chair, and I believe that everyone, especially in the later seasons of life, deserves a chair like this, not just to sit in, but to come back to. It does not matter where the chair is. It could be by a window with morning light. It could be in the corner of the bedroom. It might be near the kitchen where the smell of coffee lingers. What matters is that this chair becomes a place of stillness, a space that welcomes you without demand or expectation. Each morning, before the world starts knocking, I go to this chair. I bring a warm drink. I sit down with both feet on the ground. I take a long breath, in and out. And in that moment, I am not rushing. I am not problem solving. I am not scrolling or multitasking. I am simply being. Some days, I write a sentence or two in a small notebook. Other days, I hold a photograph and let it take me back to a moment I loved. Occasionally, I read a passage from an old book that still speaks to me, and often, I do nothing at all. I just sit, breathe, and let the morning unfold slowly, like a gentle tide. You might wonder, what is the purpose of sitting quietly in a chair each morning? And I would say this: it is a way to remind yourself that you are not behind. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, and you're allowed to begin the day from a place of calm. There is something powerful about claiming even 10 minutes for yourself, especially in a world that often wants us to hurry. This small ritual sets a tone for the rest of the day, not with a to-do list, but with intention. It says, I will carry myself with peace today. I will not let the noise of the world drown out my own rhythm. With time, this chair becomes more than routine. It becomes a reflection of your life. A place where you meet yourself each day, gently and honestly. On good days, it holds your gratitude. On hard days, it holds your sadness. And on ordinary days, it simply holds you. If you live alone, this ritual can be a grounding reminder that you are still connected to yourself, to memory, and to life moving quietly around you. If you live with others, it becomes a way to center yourself before giving your time or energy away. Over time, you may add to your chair a soft blanket, a small candle, a journal, a pair of reading glasses. These objects are not required, but they can make the space feel more like yours, more personal, more sacred. So today, I invite you to find your chair, choose it, clear a little space around it, and tomorrow morning, before the rest of the world enters your day, return to that chair, not as something you have to do, but as something you get to do. A gift, a pause, a breath of your own choosing. Because sometimes the most powerful habit is not about doing more, it is about sitting still, long enough to remember who you are and how gently a day can begin. As we reach the end of our time together today, I hope something in these habits has settled gently into your heart. These are not rules, not chores. They are small ways to reconnect with your space, your breath, and most of all, yourself. A made bed, a clear sink, a favorite chair, a quiet corner filled with blessings. These moments do not ask for perfection. They simply ask for presence. You do not have to start with all of them. In fact, I hope you don't. Start with just one little change that feels kind, one habit that brings peace, not pressure. Because in the end, a good life is not built by dramatic overhauls. It is built by consistent, thoughtful choices, repeated in love, over and over, quietly, steadily. And whether you live alone or in a full house, whether your days are busy or slow, know this: the space around you can become a reflection of your inner calm. One moment at a time. So I ask you, gently, Which habit spoke to you most today? Which one might you try, just once tomorrow morning? I would truly love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. Share a habit of your own. Your story may be the encouragement someone else needs to begin. And if this video brought you comfort or clarity, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel. Thoughtful Elders Insight is a place for reflection, wisdom, and growth, no matter your age or season of life. Until next time, take care of your space and take care of your heart, because every small step today becomes strength for tomorrow.